stop the music. Okay, we stopped the music here this morning, Ann. How you doing this morning? I'm doing okay. Hope you are. I think I have gotten a slight cold here. I have sinuses, and more sinuses. Of course, the weather out there, and having to run out with Penny all the time. Yes. So anyways, how are you doing today? Hope you're well. Hope you are taking care of yourself. Gosh, we've got all kinds of measles cases, what they say, over there at Anderson College. They now have a case there, and they've isolated that person, yada, yada, over 550 cases. Measles is not supposed to be around anymore. I don't understand this. But anyways, I'm not going to get into that today. But measles is something that was a childhood thing when I was a kid. Everybody got the measles. Everybody got the mumps. Everybody got chicken pox. Then they did away with all this stuff. So what's happening now? How come we got to have this back again? Anyways, I think that's a case to talk about with vaccinations and all that kind of jazz. So, but we're not going to talk about that today. That's just something that we got to deal with, and I guess they're watching it. But there are a lot of interesting things in the world today. One of them is, today is National Cheese Day. That's right, National Cheese Day. That's one of the things it is. It's National Butter Crunch Day. But most important today, it's National Disc Jockey Day. I think I qualify. On Saturday mornings, we do a cool show called From Trash to Treasures Along a Country Road. Everybody really seems to enjoy that show, regardless of your musical taste. Well, I don't know. If you're into hip-hop, maybe you won't like it. But if you like to kick back and hear some good classic country and blues music, I do try to oblige. So anyways, it is National Disc Jockey Day today. So check that out. Honor your disc jockeys out there. They work hard to do a job, let me tell you. They work hard to do a job. In 1778, the first military court-martial trial begins in Massachusetts. Let's see, what else? In 1869, Elizabeth Cady Stanton became the first woman to testify before Congress. And it was in 1937, the first presidential inauguration, Franklin D. Roosevelt, is held on January 20th, previously held on March 4th. I think March 4th has a much better time as far as the weather and everything, because you never know how the weather's going to be. But just think about this. Donald Trump, 47th President of the United States, has been in office for 1 year. And I don't know how this thing with Greenland is going. I just, I have a hard time understanding what all this push. The only thing that makes sense to me, regardless of what he says, is that perhaps the minerals up there maybe are the issue. I keep reading that they are willing to talk about it. They just, they are not going to be taken over by the United States. And Trump seems to be being, what shall we say, very Trumpian. So I guess we'll just have to watch. He is in Davos, Switzerland, meeting with everybody. I wonder if he's the popular guy today. Or is everybody over in one corner and he's standing in another corner? Because a lot of our allies are coming down not on the side of Donald Trump. In fact, he had a big blow up with Macron. He had asked Macron to be on his peace I'm not sure what that is, a peace group that was going to be working on keeping peace, and Macron turned him down. Maybe Donald Trump should have asked Macron's wife. Maybe he didn't go through the proper channels. Maybe he should have asked his wife, since, remember the slap heard round the world? So I don't know. But anyways, there's a lot of angst going on. He's now fighting about the Nobel Peace Prize, and so it's just going on. There's a lot of noise. I just would like to know where this is going to go. Do you have any ideas? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we should take on Greenland? I guess that's the question. Do you think we should take on Greenland? Should that become a territory of the United States of America? Why do we have to own it if we could develop what we want out of it? And maybe Donald Trump's ultimate goal is to keep pushing this hard, just to go, oh, okay, we'll take this, and this, and we may not have the ownership of it, but we may take a lot of things. I don't know. But it certainly is. I'm not sure it's popcorn worthy, but it certainly is something that is interesting to be watching what he is doing. So if you are watching this, if you're aware of it, I know you're thinking, yeah, I can't figure out what we're actually trying to get done here. But the only thing that makes sense is that he thinks, even though he says that it's about our security, and I can see part of that, but since we already have a base there, that really is maybe not all of it. So to me, it looks like he really wants the minerals up there. But I mean, I can imagine that mining them up there is going to be a problem just because of the weather and the conditions. I don't think it would be easy to get them out. I do think that if it was, that probably there would be more mining of these minerals, or there would have been a deal already worked out to get these minerals. So whatever it is whatever it is. I did hear a blip this morning that said that Rubio was going to testify next week in front of, is it the Senate, I think? Maybe we'll find out a little bit more, but then again, maybe we won't. So that's just one of the things that I found kind of interesting to be talking about. This program where this thing in Minneapolis where the ICE protesters went into the church is really turning into quite a big deal. I thought it was most interesting. They were talking about freedom of speech, and you should have freedom of speech. We certainly have come a long way from what is freedom of speech and what is pushing yourself on other people. Don't you think that if a church is supposed to have been sacrosanct, and all of a sudden ICE protesters can go into a church, excuse me, and take on and make a mess out of things. So that is what is coming down the pike. I think it's sad that our country is dissolving into something that slams rights above any type of protocol. Freedom of religion is one of them too, and the freedom to worship is another one too. So I'm really appalled by how this is all coming about. But speaking of religion, where is that article? Did you know that South Carolina is the second most religious state in the union? Well, I didn't know that. Did you? Yep, I didn't either. Let's see if I can find that article I had printed up, pulled up here. If not, I can go back and pull it up real quick. What happened to it? Yes, Mississippi. Mississippi is the most religious state in the union. How about that? But does that seem? Do you believe it? Number one, do you believe it? I just what happened to that article? Oh, where'd it go? I don't know. Let's see. Let's try put this up here. See if we can get it up here. I had this article pulled up. What happened to it? What happened to it? Okay, education, state house. Let's try that. Nope. All right. Anyways, it says that South Carolina is one of the most religious states, second in, oh, I know because it's not at this site. Okay. That it is the second most religious state. This is from Fitz News. South Carolina is America's second most religious state. We've published several stories recently about the shady cast of characters purporting to represent the interests of the Almighty before the South Carolina General Assembly. These false prophets have been beating their Bibles and blaring their indignation against a proposed private sector gaming project, neglecting to mention the tens of millions of dollars their Christian colleges and universities have been raking in from state-sanctioned government gambling monopoly. Scripture warns against unjust gain, one of the Pharisees said recently. Unless government is cutting the Bible thumpers into the racket. According to the mainstream media in South Carolina, has chosen completely to ignore this abject hypocrisy. A curious hall pass to give these temple money changers, considering the hostility with which the liberal press has traditionally viewed evangelicals. What gives? Perhaps the media has realized religion is making a comeback. Last February, Pew Research Center released data from its latest landscape study, which conducted after many years of steady decline. The share of Americans who identify as Christians shows signs of leveling off, at least temporarily. After significant declines, they found the percentage of our population identifying as Christian remained stable between 2019 and 2024, hovering between 60 and 64%. So according to those findings, South Carolina ranked number 2 nationally, trailing only Mississippi as the most religious state in America. Obviously, this would not be the typical thank God for Mississippi situation, as the invocation of the Palmetto State's unofficial motto in this context could portend bad tidings. Anyways, that is, I think, just something that is kind of interesting to check out. It says 77% of South Carolinians identify as Christians, including 39% who were evangelical Protestants. 17 were historically black Protestants, 13% were also mainline Protestants, and 7% were Catholic. Those numbers are roughly equivalent to 2014, when 78% of South Carolinians identified as Christians. So the percentage of South Carolinians religiously unaffiliated, i.e. atheist, agnostics, or nothing in particular, actually declined from 2014 to 2025, dipping from 19% to 16%, while the percentages of those identifying another religion increased from 3 to 6%. So, nationally, that figure jumped to 7.1 in 2024, up 5.9 in 2025. 2014. There is a clear correlation between the decline of worship and many of the problems our nation is facing, including a breakdown of the traditional family unit and the redefining, or rather undefining, of sexuality and societal norms. Certainly, this is an article by Will Folks. He says he certainly he's not advocating for government-imposed morality, just fundamental fairness. The further our society strays from a core code of ethics, the less in touch we are with the sense of shared humanity and collective respect we desperately need if we are to survive as a civilization. Sadly, all of those purporting to embody that core code are the very ones exploiting it. One reason our media outlet remains committed to exposing corruption in all institutions, including religious ones. So what do you think about that? Do you think that the further that we stray from this, the harder it is to have a moral society? I'd say yes. If we do not have some core values, and I know in the past, I think our churches could be helping a lot more, particularly in our area, since that's the one that I have the most understanding of, in helping bring people together. We have had, in the last few years, definitely a breakdown of churches working together for the common good of the community. And I would like to see, and I know a lot of other people would like to see, more people working together instead of churches wanting to know what is in it for them. Now, some people are going to say, that's horrible, Ann. Well, I agree it's horrible. But some of the things that we deal with in our community are because our churches have quit standing up for what is morally right. And that, I think, is a big problem. So, I just thought I would mention that. I thought it was interesting that South Carolina is the second most religious state in the Union. I'd like to know who's the least one. It doesn't say this in this article. Maybe I could check it out. It doesn't say what the... Let's see. What is the most religious state? And what is the least religious state? That would be an interesting question to find out, wouldn't it? I'm just scrolling through and see if I can see it. 7% of U.S. adults now identify with a religion other than Christianity. Moreover, the survey shows that large majorities of Americans have a spiritual or supernatural outlook of the world. 86% believe people have a soul or a spirit in addition to their physical body. Well, thank God for that one. 83% believe in God or a universal spirit. 79% believe there is something spiritual beyond the natural world, even if we can't see it. 70% believe in an afterlife, heaven, hell, or both. What do you believe? I definitely believe there is an afterlife, and I hope it's my heaven-like. I hate to think, all the comedic jokes that we hear about what happens when somebody goes to hell. Some of the things, I'm not going to get into it, but, some of the stupid things like you'll have to stand on your head for the rest of your life and stuff like that. That is definitely not something that we want. But I definitely believe there is an afterlife. And, some people are probably going to say I'm nuts, but I definitely feel a connection. And I definitely feel a connection to Jeff still. 5 years after he's died, I still feel a connection to that. And Gracie, I'm sure, still patters around here wondering what this little whippersnapper that I have here running around taking her place. So, it says the youngest adults in the survey, 18 to 24, are less likely than today's oldest adults, age 74 and older. It says so the youngest, 18 to 24, identify as Christians, 46% versus 80%. Do you think it has anything to do that as we get older, we're hoping there's something after we go, right? Or is it really a belief, and that they find that some of the things they believed as a younger person, they're finding out really aren't true? In the 18 to 24, it says 27% pray daily versus 58% of those age 74 and older. And say they attend religious services at least monthly, 25% versus 49%. 25% of the 18 to 24 versus the 74% and older are 49%. So, and then, though, of course, we have to take in the Charlie Kirk effect and how many organizations are being formed because of this. So, it's an interesting conversation. Where does religion fall in your life, or your spirituality, or whatever you'd like to call it? I think sometimes we close ourselves off to these effects, and so therefore we don't see them happening, so therefore we don't believe. If you have an open mind to this and truly have an open spirit, I believe things will happen to you that will make you understand that these things are out there. That's just my personal opinion. Many of you know I find pennies from heaven, and I've got lots of stories about when and where I find pennies. Although I gotta admit, I haven't found as many pennies since they quit minting the pennies. But I still find them, and I still find them at unique times. So, and I truly believe that they are pennies from Jeff that spur me on at times where sometimes I feel like, oh, what the heck, what am I trying to do here? Anyways, that's just my personal opinion. If you've got 1-864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. I would love to know what you are thinking about religion, and does it actually play a part in your life? And are you, in today's climate, are you afraid to speak about it, or are you okay with speaking out about it? I think those are some of the things that we actually don't realize that are affecting us day in and day out. So that's an interesting survey, and I'm going to read some more about it, because I think you'll find that some of the things that we are seeing are even changing since this survey was done. So this was the 23-24 Religious Landscape Survey. What has it seen since Charlie Kirk's death would be the question. And we're going to check more of that out. So that's one study that is out there. That was from the Pew Research Center. All right, moving on to talk about some of the other things that I wanted to talk about here this morning. The food fight between the county and the city is in full swing here in Greenwood, South Carolina. I will note, that they have drop-off locations for places to drop off your food, your canned goods particularly. I will say Greenwood County appears to have a lot more than the city. In fact, some of them I'm not really understanding because, for example, is the courthouse in the city? That is my question. Is the courthouse in the city? Is the library in the city? Because it appears to me, how about the Uptown Family Practice? Is that in the city? That's the one that is on Main Street in Uptown Greenwood. Because they are all supporting the county. Now, why is that? Why is there not a box for the city there? That is my question. Now, I realize I'm just trying to stir things up this morning. The city of Greenwood has 1, 2, 3, 4 places. Has it got any more? Is that it? No, they got 4 places listed. This is an article from the Index Journal. The city of Greenwood only has 4 drop-off places. City Hall, the fire station 1, 2, and 3. And then the Greenwood County has Carolina Community Pharmacy, the Pendergrass Family Health Center, the Village Family Practice, Uptown Family Practice, the Bethany Center, the Fire Station 51, 40, the Courthouse Foyer, Airport Annex, Public Works, Park Plaza, their temporary office, Greenwood County Library, Circulation. All of those are drop-off locations for the county. I think the city needs to get some more locations or be actively out there collecting, because the city is lagging behind just in drop-off places. Now, this is a friendly competition, I know. And we are going to have, between the city and the county, of course, the objective is to raise all kinds of food to be able to give to some of our nonprofits, to be able to give away. The winner is determined by the total weight of donations, with a public weigh-in scheduled for 10 a.m. February 19th at the Greenwood County Farmers Market. While the rivalry, energy to the drive, organizers stress the purpose is serious, helping to ensure local families and students have access to food. So they keep saying it's a friendly competition. Yeah, but Greenwood County has at least twice, maybe 3 times the number of drop-off locations. So I challenge the city of Greenwood. What you doing about it, folks? If we're going to compete, that says the city aims to reclaim its title. Okay, Brandon Smith, mayor of Greenwood. Greenwood Mayor Brandon Smith said the city is entering this year's competition with confidence and a clear target. Well, good. How are you going to get there? You know, that's what inquiring minds want to know. Our goal is 25,001 pound of food, Smith said, laughing. We're feeling very confident, probably too confident. I would expect you are a little too confident. Smith said city departments are expected to lead the push, but emphasize effort extended beyond the city employees. I'm going to do everything in my power to fire up our administration team, every department head, all our employees, and the public to donate and contribute towards the city's collection, Mayor Brandon Smith said. So they have a few sites, but they don't have enough if you're trying to compete against the county. So I suggest that the city needs to do something to get this rolling. And I just wanted to make a point on that. You know, there's a big honor in being the one to have the can of corn trophy awarded at the end of the weigh-in. Now, I do realize there are lots of little sneak attacks. I mean, sometimes we get the grocery stores here to bring in a truckload of stuff. But I don't know, Brandon. I may need you to come on and tell people how you plan to win, because if you just look at the collection points, it's not real strong. And I'm sure Brandon will tell me that's not the only way that you get donations. No, but the more donation spots you have, the better the opportunity is to get them. So, we have lots of food drives in this community, and it always is good to see all the people contributing to food drives. So I'm sure we're going to have churches, nonprofit groups, other groups coming together to contribute to this. But Brandon, you may need to come and advertise on WCRS radio in order to get that done so that the city can come on strong. So I just wanted to mention that this morning. I thought that was that's one that we always look forward to see how much food is donated. And it says they also take food and cash donations are accepted. So it's started on January 12th through February 19th. And so the winner will be determined by the total weight of donations. And they got the food fight, of course. Robbie Templeton on the county is a fearless fighter for this, and Brandon has to go up against him, and Brandon fights very fearless too. I suggest that the mayor's council may need to get out there and be doing something for this too. They may be. I have no idea. I'm just throwing that out there. Anyways, this is where we can really make a difference in the community. Really make a difference in the community. All right. That's one little thing I wanted to share here this morning. Let's see if anybody is saying anything this morning. What? Okay, somebody said, yeah, and you go ahead and do it. No, I'm not doing it. Come on now. But here's something that just came in. Okay, all right. Well, Elon Musk, I think I saw that story. Elon Musk I thought it said that Elon Musk was entering the race. It's not. He's got a pact that he is supporting it. So, and he just made a $10 million donation to help in Kentucky. You know, the thing about all these races, the amount of dollars that it takes to win a race in today's world is just dizzying to me. We'll have a lot of races coming up. Most of them probably advertisers will start jumping in March, April, May is when you're going to be, I hope, lots of radio advertising to see who's going to win. And we will look anticipating who is going to win as far as on the Republican side. Whoever wins and we've got five contestants for governor. Whoever wins that will it should end up being the governor. The Democrats so far have not had anybody that even looks close to making a difference. So there you go. That's just a little bit on that. I wanted to talk about an article that was in the Index Journal the other day, which I thought was most interesting. What South Carolina law says about recording conversations. Now, I have been under, I guess, the misguided idea that in South Carolina, and I really don't know what other states' laws are, but that you had to tell somebody you were recording them. Well, according to South Carolina allows certain recordings while prohibiting others depending on who is recording, where the recording occurs, and whether there is a reasonable expectation of privacy. Yes. So it says South Carolina is a one-party consent state, meaning only one participant in a conversation must know it's being recorded. Under South Carolina Code, it is legal for a person to record a conversation if they are party to that conversation, even if the other person is unaware of the recording. I did not know that. A person does not have to notify the other party that a recording is taking place as long as the person recording is participating in the conversation. What do you think about that? I think that's rather frightening, because I think most people believe that their conversations are, if you're having a private conversation with someone, that you don't believe that somebody is recording you. Now, it says that there's also makes it part of this code, makes it unlawful to intentionally intercept or record a conversation when the person recording is not a party to the communication and does not have consent from at least one participant. The statute generally is applied to wiretapping or surreptitious recordings, such as secretly recording a private conversation between two other people. This is kind of different than what I thought. According to South Carolina Press Association attorney Taylor Smith, conversations that are recorded that may be considered illegal have to consider the time, the place, and the manner in which the recording occurs to determine whether it fits in the statute of being illegal. All these statutes concern protecting the privacy of a conversation. Not really. If one party can be recorded while the other party knows that they're recording them, no, that's not true. Oh, let's see. Let's read that again. All these statutes concern protecting the privacy of a conversation. Public buildings, public forums, or during public business hours generally carry low expectation of privacy. Well, heck yeah. How many times have you heard this conversation may be recording for utmost client actions from the person to make sure that people are doing the right thing. People generally do not have an expectation of privacy in public conversations, in public places, during public business hours. However, the bottom line is a person may legally record a conversation they are part of without notifying the other party. A person may not secretly record a conversation they are not part of unless one party consents. And conversation in public spaces generally do not carry strong privacy protection. I find this amazing. So you could be having a conversation, believing that you are talking freely, and just to find out that the other person that you're talking to could be recording you. Now, where is this fair? I just find this appalling. I don't know about you. 864-332-9355. 864-332-9355. Did you know this? I did not. All right. 864-332-9355. This opens up, I think, to me, a whole can of worms as to somebody saying something. Yes. Fortunately, Penny does not speak English. She speaks dog. Is that right? You speak dog. And so far, we haven't figured out how to interpret dog into English language, so I feel pretty safe. Anyways, I'm Anna Eller here this morning. This afternoon, we are going to have Sheriff Dennis Kelly with us. I certainly am looking forward to having him on. We're going to be talking about gang activity here in Greenwood. I think sometimes when we live in our own little bubbles, we don't believe that we have as much gang activity as we actually have in Greenwood, South Carolina. Basically, because we'd like to shove it under the rug and say it doesn't exist. Of course, who wants gangs in your community? So we're going to be talking about that with Dennis Kelly this afternoon. We're also going to be talking about who makes the choice on who gets arrested. Is it who has to say this is an arrestable offense? and a couple other topics. We also want to get an update on what's happening at the jail. Is there any movement on a newer jail? Have they started the study that they wanted to see if we really, quote, needed a new jail? If you've been to that jail as a client or just as one that visits it, you might say, yes, we do. And that, of course, was a big topic of conversation in the 2024 capital sales tax project. So we'll have to find out some more from Sheriff Dennis Kelly, who will be with us this afternoon. As far as what else is going on in the world, it is going to be cold, and they are talking about we are going to be talking about the weather, what's happening with the weather. They are saying that we could get a storm this weekend. Today, we are at 37 degrees. We're supposed to get up to 52 today. We will drop down to 22 tonight. And plentiful sunshine, high of 52. Tonight down to 22. Wednesday looks like a high of 54, low of 39. Thursday, high of 59, low of 45. Mainly cloudy, high of 59 on Thursday. Thursday night, cloudy skies early with showers later at night, low near 45. Chance of rain 50%. Friday looks like rain showers in the morning, becoming more intermittent in the afternoon, high around 55, chance of rain 50%. Friday night, cloudy skies early with showers later that night, low of 37, chance of rain is 50%. Saturday and Sunday is where things get kind of wonky. Saturday, showers early, becoming a steady rain later in the day, high of 41, chance of rain 90%. Rainfall around 1/4 of an inch. Saturday night, watching a potential winter storm, freezing rain, low of 22, chance of precipitation 90%. And on Saturday, showers early, becoming a steady rain later in the day, high of 41, chance of rain 90%, rainfall around Sunday. Watching a potential winter storm, freezing rain, high of 28 on Sunday. So any of that precipitation that we get on Saturday is going to stick around because it's going to be freezing. Chance of precipitation 90%. Sunday night, light freezing rain in the evening, changing to snow showers overnight. Low around 25 degrees, winds light and variable, chance of precipitation 60%. Coming in on next Monday, looks like considerable clouds early, some decrease in clouds, high of just 39. So that snow, depending on how much we get, could stick around. Monday evening, partly cloudy, low of 21. So we are staying in the cold zone. You know, it's interesting. I think planning an event in January is very, very iffy. Because every time, January just seems the month that we get all this potential precipitation. I happened to be going through my memories, and I saw a picture of Gracie in that cute orange jacket that I got her out there on the lower field, tromping around in the snow out there. I mean, it wasn't that much, maybe a couple of inches. And we've got pictures of the deer going on for several years. So this is not unusual. And we have had, in my opinion, quite a span of cold weather. So here's what I say. Get prepared. Don't wait till Saturday. If you're going to need some things, go ahead and get them now so that you don't have to be running around on Saturday trying to make sure you have everything. But it does look like that storm is coming our way. Hey, I'm Ann Eller. You know this is WCRS Radio. We'll be back at 5 o'clock this afternoon with Sheriff Dennis Kelly. Please feel free, if you've got a question for Dennis, to go ahead and ask it. It makes it a lot easier for me to to plan out our conversation if you've already given me a question. Now, it doesn't matter. You can always ask that question and maybe we'll get to it. There's another question has just come in. This is great. So if you have questions about things that is happening in our law enforcement, particularly on the sheriff's side, that would be great. That would be great. All right. Anything else I need to talk about today? No, I'm not going to talk about anything else. I will be back this afternoon at 5. Hope you will be with us right here on WCRS Radio. So we are going to drop the curtain and we are going to play the music right here on WCRS. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye, everybody.
And now, it's time for the I Love Ann Show.